Good evening, fellow yogis. Hopefully you're doing well this evening. Tonight is our Yoga 101, day 7 of day 8. And today, because it is day 7, a day before our final exam day, we're going to be working on a little bit of a style of yoga called Vinyasa yoga. Vinyasa is a combination of Hatha style of yoga and Ashtanga yoga. It connects the breath to movement. And in most classes, whether you are taking a Hatha class or even just a normal yoga class, what you'll encounter is some sort of a Vinyasa. So to get us into that kind of breath to movement feeling there, let's actually just spend a little moment here connecting with the breath, and then we'll worry about the movement. Now, a couple of props that we might need for the class. Of course, you don't need props if you're at home and don't happen to have the props, but a couple blocks might be handy. A bolster would be handy too. If you don't have a bolster, you could always just grab something off of the couch. Just like if you don't have blocks, you could always just grab a book or something that's thick and heavy. But a good cushion off the couch would also work if you don't have a bolster. And then a couple of blankets. And I'm sure you've got some blankets at home. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and just have a seat on our mats. Remove any flesh out of the way. And take your hands next to your hips and press the fingertips down towards the earth. Lift the spine up towards the ceiling. And then squeeze the shoulder blades towards one another. Drop the shoulders away from the ears. Keep your low ribs corseted in. And then take your hands to the tops of your thighs with the palms facing up for a little bit of receiving of the universe's energy this evening, or if you'd like to feel a little bit more grounding to the earth this evening, you can take the palms to face down. It's yogi's choice. Stretch the top of your head up towards the ceiling and slightly tuck your chin back. And then go ahead and close your eyes. Just arrive on your mat. Arrive into your body. Arrive into your breath. This breath movement style of yoga, the important thing is maintaining the breath. And with that breath, the movement will follow. So with that, start to tune in a little bit more to just the natural rhythm of your breath as it breathes you. And working to take a little bit of control of the breath this evening. Open up your mouth and let it all out completely. Take a deep, full inhale through the nose. And keeping the lips sealed at the top of your inhale, slowly exhale the breath out through the nose. Again, a deep, full inhale. And again, a slow, deliberate exhale. Keep the maintaining of the rhythm of that breath, working to elongate the inhales. And even out your exhales. As you're breathing in, maybe mentally make a count to yourself of a 5 or 6 count inhale. Coming to the top, you want to pause for just a count. And then the same amount of time that you inhale, the 5 or 6 count, let that breath slowly back out. As you're working to elongate, even out the breath, see if you can start to bring a slight constriction into the back of the throat. Should create a little bit of a sound, as if the ocean was slashing or sloshing up against the shore. On each of the inhales, think about the tide rushing in onto the sand, that whooshing sound. On the exhales, think about the tide washing away from the sand, again, making a slight whooshing sound, as if fogging up a mirror with the mouth closed. This is known as the Ujjayi Pranayama. Helps to build heat within the body. Helps to slow down and control the breath. Take 5 more counts of that breath on your own. 5 more repetitions. Deep, full inhales. And slow, deliberate exhales. At the bottom of your last exhale, gently blink the eyes open. And as we start to get into our Vinyasa style of practice, the first thing I want to do is have us just bring a little bit of awareness to a pose that oftentimes creates a little bit of a problem for some of the students. It can also create a little bit of injury in the rotator cuffs of the shoulders if not done properly through a number of repetitions. So it's what's known as the Chaturanga Dandasana, or the high to low push-up. And usually you start in a high position and work your way to the low position. But we're going to start in a low position and work our way to a high position. And just kind of make sure we have the right placement of the arms and a right understanding of the Chaturanga, just to make sure that we protect the shoulder girdle and also have success with our practice. So if you do have that pillow off of the couch or a bolster, go ahead and just grab that. Put that right in the middle of your mat. It doesn't matter exactly where it is, but somewhere towards the middle. If you have blankets, fold one of the blankets into a column fold. Stack that right on top of that bolster. Take the other blanket, put that into a column fold as well, and stack that right on top of your bolster as well. And depending on how long the upper arms and forearms are, you might have to adjust. You might even need another blanket as you come down on this. You might also have to remove a blanket or so. So what we want to do is just come right down onto the belly to begin with. So take the top of the sternum right to the top of the blanket. You want the chin to come out or past the blanket edge. We're almost coming into like a little bit of a push-up position here. Now, an important thing to think about in this pose, as opposed to a normal push-up, is where the hand placement is. So start to slide the hands back so that the palms are directly underneath the elbows. You want to try to create a 90-degree bend at the elbows and maintain that bend as we just kind of sit here and hang out for a moment. You can tuck the toes, or as we start to just comfort into this pose here, or this setup for our pose, you can also untuck the toes. It's not so critical right now. Just bring the hands back so they're underneath the elbows. Squeeze the elbows in towards the midline. Take your chin down towards the floor so the gaze is directly to the floor. And just take a couple of moments here to reconnect to that breath. Take a deep, full exhale through the mouth. Then seal the lips, draw the breath slowly in through the nose. And keeping the lips sealed, slowly exhale through the nose. Again, bringing that slight constriction to the back of the throat, engaging the Ujjayi Pranayama. We're working towards it. And then on your next inhale, if the eyes are closed, gently blink the eyes open. This time go ahead and tuck the toes. We want to try to have the toes directly underneath the heels. Separate the feet about hip width distance, or a little bit more narrow if you can. setting ourselves up for what looks like the low part of a push-up at this point. And we're actually on the low side because we're relying on that blanket to do quite a bit. So with the hands directly underneath the elbows and the elbows squeezing in towards the ribs, start to just push yourself away from the blanket, maybe a half an inch, maybe an inch. And then lower yourself back down, keep squeezing the elbows in. Make sure you have the 10 fingers spread out as wide as you can get them. Squeeze the elbows in, keep the toes tucked, and again on the inhale, work to press the palms down into the mat, lift the sternum and torso away from the blanket, maybe a half an inch, maybe an inch, maybe a little bit more than last time. Keep squeezing the elbows in, and then lower yourself back down. Make sure the toes are tucked, the elbows are still squeezed in, the hands are directly underneath the elbows. Press down, and on the inhale, begin to lift yourself up a half an inch, maybe 2 inches, maybe a little bit more than last time, maybe not. And then exhale, lower yourself all the way back down. And then one more time, this time coming all the way up. Keep the hands underneath the elbows, keep the elbows squeezing in towards the ribs, toes tucked. Exhale. And then on the inhale, press the hands into the blanket. Begin to lift yourself all the way up, coming into a high push-up position. Once you're in that high push-up position, slightly tuck the tail, lift the pubic bone. Keep the shoulders drawing away from the ears. Keep the sternum pulling forward. From here, squeeze the elbows in towards the ribs again, and then pull the heads of the shoulders towards the top of the mat. And as you exhale, start to slowly lower yourself back down onto the blanket. Once you're all the way down, hang out for a breath. And then pushing ourselves back up. Hands underneath elbows, elbows squeezing in, toes tucked. Exhale fully. And inhale, press yourself up and away. Come into a high push-up all the way up. And once you're there, tuck the tail slightly. Lift the pubic bone. And then pull the heads of the shoulders forward. Squeeze the elbows in on the exhale. Start to lower yourself slowly back down onto the bolster or blanket or whatever you have. And then once you're down, go ahead and bend the knees. Walk the hands forward a little bit and lift yourself all the way up off of the bolster blanket setup. And just go ahead and slide that out of the way. And from here, we'll take a downward facing dog, just to kind of awaken the body a little bit here. So take the hands, stack them directly underneath the shoulders, wrap the heads of the shoulders back and down, away from the ears. Step one leg back into that plank we were just in, the other leg back into that plank. Separate the feet hip width distance or wider, and on the exhale, lift the hips up and back for downward facing dog. From here, take a moment to just pedal out your dog. Gently push one heel down towards the earth as you lift the other heel up, and then switch it out. A little bit of breath to movement here to begin. Opposite heel down, the opposite heel up. And again, breath to movement, just taking a moment to pedal out the dog. And then find a little bit of stillness in your down dog. We'll work this pose for just a moment here. So take a look at the hands. Make sure that the 10 fingers are spread out as wide as you can get them. Pronate the hands, push down into the knuckles of the index and the thumb now, and then wrap the eyes of the elbows towards the top of the mat, taking the outer armpits down and away from the ears. Press down firmly into the mat to straighten the arms out. And then take a look back towards your feet. Bend your knees a couple of inches and lift the sitting bones up towards the ceiling. And then work to extend the heels down towards the earth. Straighten the knees out and stretch the backs of the thighs towards the wall behind you. Again, take an inhale and gaze towards the top of the mat. Pull the sternum forward through the gaze. And then look back through your upper thighs and stretch your heart back through the thighs as you lift your sitting bones up towards the sky. And then on your exhale, go ahead and walk your hands back to meet your feet. Take Uttanasana at the back of the mat. And just allow yourself to hang heavy here. Take the arms and clasp the opposite elbows. Drop the forehead down to the forearms. Maybe bend the knees if you need to. Connect the ribs and the thighs. And then once you're there, take a gentle sway. Take the left elbow over towards the left knee. And then opposite, right elbow to right knee. And gently sway a little bit. Help that spine to unravel. If you'd like to bring some small movements into the neck, feel free to do that as well. And then once you've done that a couple of times, find a little bit of stillness. Release the elbows, take the hands down towards the earth. Connect the palms to the earth. Bend the knees a lot if you need to. Take your gaze up through your upper thighs. So if the knees are bent, that's okay. We want the palms to the earth, the ribs to the thighs, and we want to be folding in as much as we can. Once we're there, we're trying to lift the sitting bones up towards the sky, working to straighten out the knees and the backs of the legs. If they don't get there, that's okay. We're working towards getting there. Press the palms down, keep the arms straight, the shoulders away from the ears. Press the feet down, work to lift the sitting bones up. And then on your inhale, come up onto your fingertips, take your hands to your shins or to the knees, pull the top of the sternum forward towards the top of the mat. Keep a slight bend to the knees if they're bent, and drop the hips slightly towards the thighs. Stretch the sitting bones up towards the sky. Try to create a flat back with the spine parallel to the floor. From here on the exhale, hinge back in. See if you can take your Uttanasana a little bit deeper. And then inhale again, halfway lift, known as Ardha Uttanasana. Take your hands to your hips this time. Squeeze the elbows to the sky. And with a flat back, come all the way up into standing. Hopefully the legs are a little bit awake now. The arms might have gotten a little bit awake. And hopefully the spine's starting to awaken as we start to move into our first Vinyasa flow of the day, which is known as Sun Salutation A, or in Sanskrit we call it Surya Namaskara A. And it is a series of about 10 poses linked together with breath and movement. So what I'll do is I'll kind of demonstrate the Sun Salutation A, walk you through, then we'll slowly build into it, and then I'll let you kind of practice on your own. I'll give some cues and see what you can do. So the breath and movement, it actually starts in what's called Tadasana. We've been here before. Tadasana brings the big toes to touch, separates the heels just a sliver apart. We do want to bring the weight more into the four corners of the feet so we can lift and spread the 10 toes out wide. From there, gently place the toes back onto the mat. Press into those four corners of the feet, lift up on the kneecaps this time. Tuck the tail slightly and lift your pubic bone. Extend the fingertips down towards the earth and take the heads of the shoulders back towards the wall behind you and drop them away from the ears. Stretch the top of the head up towards the ceiling. And then from here, take the hands into heart center. Let's connect to the breath for just a moment here. Exhale all the air out from the lungs. Inhale fully. Keep the lips sealed and exhale completely. Again, you can just hang out and watch, or if you know what you're doing, play along with me as I demonstrate. On your next inhale, begin to circle the arms up overhead. You want to squeeze the palms together, gaze up through the heels of the hands. Be mindful when you do this because the low ribs want to flare out, the belly wants to drop out. Squeeze the navel back towards the spine. Keep the tailbone tucked and keep those low ribs corseted in. It's called Urdhva Namaskarasana. On your exhale from here, we hinge at the hips and we fold in back into Uttanasana. We've been here before. The next inhale creates the Ardha Uttanasana, pulling the sternum parallel to the floor. And then on the exhale, we plant the hands and we step the feet back into that high plank pose. From the high plank pose, we want to inhale, pull the heads of the shoulders past the fingertips, squeeze the elbows in. Imagine that bolster setup was underneath you. And on the exhale, you start to lower yourself halfway down. Then you untuck the toes, and on the inhale, lift the sternum forward and up. Take the heads of the shoulders back and down, upward facing dog. And then tuck the toes, lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. And this gives us a little bit of a moment to rest. Oftentimes you take several breaths here. We'll take 3. Allowing yourself to slow down. Reconnect with the breath if we've lost it. On the third inhale, we'll bend the knees. We'll gaze to the top of the mat and take a gentle hop or step to the top of the mat, holding in for Uttanasana. Inhale gets us back into Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale gets us back into Uttanasana. And then another inhale, we circle the arms back up just as the way we started. Urdhva Namaskarasana. And exhale draws the hands into heart center for Samastiti, or prayer position. So that's our Surya Namaskara A, Sun Salutation A, linking 10 movements with the breath. So from here, let's go ahead and do it. We'll take a couple of slower versions. We'll do what are called half Sun Salutation A's, just to kind of get you into the feel, that rhythm, breath to movement. And then from there, we'll move into the full Surya Namaskara A. So take your Tadasana at the top of the mat. Think about all those actions I was just cueing earlier. We want to bring the weight back into the heels, lift and spread the toes, place the toes back down but keep them spread, tuck the tail, lift the hips, extend the fingers to the earth, heads of the shoulders back and down, crown up, Tadasana. On your inhale, begin to circle the arms up overhead, squeeze the palms, gaze up through the heels of the hands, Urdhva Namaskarasana. And then exhale, hinge at the hips, folding in for Uttanasana. Stretch the sitting bones up and the thighs back. In the half Sun Salutation A, we inhale, come forward into Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, just fold back in, Uttanasana. Inhale, circle the rise, squeeze the palms, gaze up, Urdhva Namaskarasana. And then exhale, hands to heart center, coming back to the beginning. So that's a half Sun Salutation A. We'll just do that a little bit more, waking our bodies up 2 more times. Inhale, circle the arms up overhead. Exhale, hinge at the hips, forward fold, Uttanasana. Awesome work. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold back in, Uttanasana. Inhale, circle the rise, squeeze the palms, gaze up. Keep the low ribs in, tail tuck. And exhale, hands to heart center, Samastiti. One more half Sun Salutation A. Inhale, circle up. Exhale, hinge forward, fold in, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold back in, Uttanasana. Inhale, circle all the way up with a flat back. Squeeze the palms and gaze up. And exhale, hands into heart center for Samastiti. Awesome. Okay, so hopefully now we got a little bit of that connection, breath to movement. And now we'll get into the full Sun Salutation A. So if you aren't in your Tadasana, get back into Tadasana, top of the mat. You know those cues, stand tall like a mountain. On your inhale, circle the arms up overhead, squeeze the palms and gaze up. And then exhale, hinge at the hips, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Here's the change up, plant the hands. Step one leg back at a time into plank, and hold plank for a moment here. Make sure that the shoulders are over the wrists. Make sure that the toes are underneath the heels. Slightly tuck the tail. Take the heads of the shoulders away from the ears. Now, if this is difficult for you to hold a plank position like this, you can always drop down onto the knees. If you are in that plank position, We want to inhale to pull the heads of the shoulders forward past the fingertips. Squeeze the elbows in. And we're going to come all the way down to the floor this time. On the exhale, bend the elbows. Start to lower yourself slowly all the way down, coming down to the belly. If that was difficult for you and you're in that kneeling position, knees down on the floor, hands underneath the shoulders. From here, notice how my hips are kind of tucked in towards the thighs and the butt is lifted up. And it's not really creating a flat line from the knees through the shoulders. So I do want to create more of a posterior tilt to the pelvis here. What that means is I want to drop my glutes down towards my knees. I want to lift my hip points up. And when I do that, it naturally starts to pull the heads of the shoulders forward past the fingertips. You can even lift the feet up this time and point the toes towards the ceiling. Squeeze the elbows in. Keep those hip points lifted. And on the exhale, start to lower yourself all the way down to the floor. Now from here, you can drop the feet back down to the mat if you have the knees bent. And we should all be in the same position. The first thing we'll do is kind of an introduction back bend here. So on your inhale, start to pull the sternum forward and up, the crown up. Take the heads of the shoulders back and down away from the ears. Keep pushing the tops of the feet down and squeeze the legs together. This is called baby cobra. Maybe lift the palms up off of the mat for a gentle little back bend here. Push the pubic bone down, stretch the glutes towards the heels, lift the thoracic spine and sternum up, and then exhale, lower the hands down if they're up, tuck the toes. On your inhale, begin to press the hands down and lift yourself into a high plank position. And then on the exhale, keep the hands and feet where they are, but lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. 3 breaths here, a deep full inhale. And a slow, deliberate exhale. Inhale for 2. Stretch those sitting bones up and back. Exhale. Third, inhale, gaze to the top of the mat. Bend the knees, coil. And either hop or step. Get to the top of the mat. Fold in. Uttanasana. Inhale. Halfway lift. Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold back in. Uttanasana. Inhale, circle all the way up. Squeeze the palms and gaze up through the heels of the hands. And then exhale, hands into heart center, Samasthiti. Awesome. Let's do that a couple more times. With anything, the more you do it, the better you get. And this is one of those things that's a repetition over and over and over again. The better you get, the more strength you build, the more you can slow the breath down and connect to the movement. So taking that Tadasana, inhale, circle the arms all the way up, Urdhva Namaskar. Exhale, hinge at the hips, holding in, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. And then plant the hands, step one leg back at a time into plank. Either drop the knees and lift the hips, scoop the tail under, or stay in that high plank position. Inhale, no matter where you are, pull the heads of the shoulders forward, squeeze the elbows in, and start to lower yourself, this time all the way down, slowly again. From here, untuck the toes, zip the legs together, press the hands into the mat, squeeze the elbows in towards the ribs. Inhale, begin to lift yourself up into that baby cobra. Keep pressing the hands down this time. Begin to lift the sternum a little bit more up. Try to keep the heads of the shoulders back and down. Work to get the arms as straight as you can, but keep the pubic bone pressing down and the hips lifting up. And then exhale, lower all the way down. Tuck the toes. Press the hands and feet down. Inhale, lift all the way up into plank. And exhale, hips up and back. Downward facing dog. 3 breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale 2, stretch those hips up and back. Exhale. Inhale, gaze to the top of the mat, bend the knees and coil. And exhale, hop or step to the top, fold in, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold back in, Uttanasana. Inhale, circle the arms all the way up over head, squeeze the palms and gaze up. And then exhale, hands into heart center. Okay, so as we start to build along with this sun salutation, you might notice that there's some different levels that are involved. There's always the knees down, there's always baby cobra, there's full cobra. This time I'm going to walk you through the full sun salutation A, and we'll do what's called upward facing dog. A little bit more of a deeper back bend. But as we start to deepen our practice, obviously we want to get a little bit deeper with our poses. So take that Tadasana, top of the mat. Inhale, begin to circle the arms up overhead, squeeze the palms. Exhale, hinge at the hips, fold in for Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift for Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, plant the hands, hop, step back into plank. Pull the heads and the shoulders forward. On the exhale, squeeze the elbows in towards the ribs. This time we're only going to lower ourselves halfway down. Imagine that blanket and bolster setup was there. Untuck the toes. Inhale, lift the sternum up. Take the shoulders back and down. This time the only thing touching the floor should be the palms and the tops of the feet. On your exhale, tuck the toes. Lift the hips up and back. Take downward facing dog for 3 breaths here. Inhale. Slow it down on the exhale. Inhale for 2. Exhale. Inhale, gaze to the top of the mat, bend the knees and coil. And exhale, hop, step, float, get to the top as you fold in, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold back in. Inhale, circle all the way up, squeeze the palms and gaze up. And exhale, hands into heart center, Samastiti. Awesome work. So that's the full sun salutation A. We're going to do that a couple of times. Again, the more you do it, the better it gets. The more you can slow the breath down and connect to the movement. So from Tadasana, I'll just walk you through it quickly. Inhale, circle up. Exhale, hinge forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, hop, step back into plank. Inhale, pull the heads and the shoulders forward. Bend the elbows, start to lower yourself halfway down. Squeeze the elbows in towards the ribs, untuck the toes. Inhale, upward facing dog. Heads and the shoulders back and down. Tuck the toes, hips up and back. Downward facing dog. 3 breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale for 2. Exhale. Inhale, 3. Bend the knees, coil. Exhale, hop, step, float. Get to the top as you fold in. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold back in. Inhale, circle all the way up. Squeeze the palms and gaze up. Exhale, hands to heart center, moving right through. Inhale again, circle up. Exhale, hinge forward, fold in. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, plank. Inhale, pull the heads and the shoulders forward, squeeze the elbows in. Exhale, lower halfway or all the way down, your choice. Untuck the toes, lift the sternum forward and up. Tuck the toes, hips up and back. 3 breaths in down dog. Inhale. Exhale. Wrap those outer armpits down. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, gaze to the top. Bend the knees. Hop or step to the top. Fold in. Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold back in. Inhale, circle all the way up. Squeeze the palms and gaze up. Exhale, hands to heart center. One more time. Moving breath and movement. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Halfway down. Untuck the toes. Inhale. Exhale. Hips up and back. 3 breaths. Third, inhale, gaze to the top, bend the knees, and exhale, hop or step to the top, fold in, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold back in. Inhale, circle the rise, squeeze the palms, gaze up. And exhale, hands to heart center. Awesome work. How are you feeling? Body should be warm. Maybe broke a little bit of a sweat. And that gets us ready for our next Vinyasa flow. And there are a sun salutation B. There's also a sun salutation C. We're not going to get that complicated here in our Yoga 101 class. But we also have moon salutations too. So we'll start with a moon salutation called Moon Salutation A. And this is where you could incorporate the blocks if you need to. In fact, if you think you might need them, take the blocks to the top of the mat, one on opposite sides. It's purely optional. A lot of these poses we've already done, but there's a couple new ones that we'll start to introduce here. So I will again demonstrate the flow, and then I'll walk you through the flow. So it's the same beginning that we already started with. We're in that Tadasana. We inhale to circle the arms up for Urdhva Namaskar. We hinge at the hips, we fold in for Uttanasana. And here's where the change-up happens. On the inhale, we do create that halfway lift. But on the exhale, you can take your hands to the blocks or hands to the feet. And we're going to step one leg back into a runner's lunge. Now, in the runner's lunge, we want to have the front knee directly over the front ankle. And if you can see yourself in a mirror, you want to walk your back toes back so they're directly underneath the back ankle. Now, there's a tendency here to kind of bend the knees. We want to push the back heel back so the kneecap starts to lift and the back of the thigh lifts towards the ceiling. There's also a tendency here to kind of drop the belly onto the thigh in the front. We want to lift the navel up off of the spine. Take the shoulders away from the ears, and on your inhale, begin to circle the arms up overhead for a crescent lunge. Now, in the crescent lunge, one of the things that tends to happen is a leaning forward here. What we want to do is bring that lean backwards slightly. So bend your back knee, lift your hip points up, scoop the tailbone under. Once you've got the shoulders directly over the hips, corset those low ribs in, and take the navel back towards the spine. And then work to push your right heel, the back heel back to the back of the mat. Bend front knee a little bit deeper. Try to take it into a square shape. From there, circle the arms up, crescent lunge. On your exhale, circle the arms back down. Step the front foot to the back of the mat into a plank. Now you can take a vinyasa here, or we'll just skip it for right now. Lift the hips up and back into downward facing dog. Push your left heel into the mat, lift the right heel up to the sky. Be mindful if there's a wall behind you. And on the exhale, step the right foot in between the hands. Again, that front leg should have the knee directly over the ankle. The back leg should have the toes directly underneath the heel. Push the back leg straight, lift the upper thigh, or the back thigh up. Lift the navel up off of the front leg. Pull the heads of the shoulders away from the ears. Inhale, circle the arms up. And again, you want to bend that back knee, lift the hip points up, scoop the tail under. Once we've got the shoulders over the hips, the navel reaching back towards the spine, the low ribs in, start to fire up that back leg. Lift the upper back thigh towards the ceiling with a slight internal rotation. Sink a little deeper in that front knee. Try to bring it parallel, the thigh parallel to the floor. From here, begin to circle the arms up overhead, high lunge. And then exhale, circle the hands back to surround the feet. Step the right foot to meet the left. Fold in, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold back in. Inhale, circle the rise, squeeze the palms and gaze up. And exhale, hands to heart center, Samastitihi. And so that was just with the one side of the body. You have to balance out the other side of the body. So now that you kind of know what we're going to be doing, though, I'll walk you through that one side, and then we'll do the other side. So take Tadasana at the top of the mat if you're not already there. Inhale, circle the arms up overhead, Urdhva Namaskar. Exhale, hinge at the hips, fold in for Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. And here's where the change-up occurs. Either take the hands to the blocks or hands to the floor. Keep the left leg where it is. Step the right leg back. Make sure that the left knee is over the left ankle. The right toes are under the right heel. Inhale, circle the arms up overhead. Sink a little deeper in that front knee. And try to take the heads of the shoulders over the hips. If you're having difficulty with that, again, bend that back knee. Lift those hips up. Scoop that tail under. Once you've got the shoulders over the hips, corset the low ribs in, navel back towards the wall behind you. Straighten out on your back leg, sink a little deeper in your front leg. Work to actively pull the right hip forward, left hip back, extend the arms up to the ceiling, high lunge. Exhale, circle the arms down, plant the hands, step the left leg back to meet the right, lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Push the left heel down to the mat. Inhale, lift the right heel up to the sky. Exhale, step the right foot forward in between the hands. Work to straighten out that back leg, and inhale, stretch the arms up overhead. Again, if you're leaning the shoulders a little bit forward over the thigh, bend the back knee, take the hands to the hips, lift the hips, scoop the tail, take the heads of the shoulders over the hips. Take the corset of the low ribs in and the navel back towards the spine. Keep the hips lifted as you push the back heel back, straighten out on the back knee. Pull that left hip forward slightly, right hip back, sink a little deeper in the front knee. Inhale, circle the arms up, high lunge, crescent lunge. Exhale, circle the hands back to surround the right foot, step the left foot to meet the right, fold in, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold back in. Inhale, circle all the way up and squeeze the palms. And exhale, hands into heart center, Samastiti. Let's do the opposite side. Inhale, circle up. Exhale, hinge forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Right foot stays where it is this time. Left foot steps back. Inhale on one breath, circle the arms up, high lunge. Exhale, circle the hands down, step the right foot to meet the left. Lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Push the right heel down, lift the left heel up towards the sky. Exhale, step the left foot in between the hands. One breath here. Inhale, circle the arms up, high lunge. Exhale, circle the hands back down, step the right foot forward, fold in, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold back in. Inhale, circle all the way up. And exhale, hands to heart center, Samastiti. Awesome. So that was both sides. Let's bring a couple of other movements into this too, because you can vary this up a little bit. We'll do the chaturanga in between, and we'll also get a little bit more with the standing back bend here. So start with your Tadasana. Inhale, circle the arms up. Exhale, hinge at the hips, fold in. Inhale, halfway lift. Keep the left foot where it is, step the right leg back. Inhale, one breath, come all the way up. On the exhale, see if you can bend in the front knee a little bit deeper. Bend the arms, squeeze the elbows in towards the ribs, and try to create a back bend all the way from your right foot up through the crown of your head. Inhale, reach the arms back up. Exhale, circle the arms down. Step the back foot or front foot to meet the back. Start in low plank or high plank. Inhale, pull forward. Bend the elbows, lower yourself halfway down. Or all the way down. Untuck the toes. Upward facing dog, cobra, or baby cobra, your choice. Exhale, hips up and back, downward facing dog. No time to pause here. Push the left heel down. Inhale the right heel up. Exhale, step the right foot forward. Inhale, circle the arms up in one breath. Exhale, bend deeper in the front knee. Cactus the arms, create that back bend. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, circle the hands back down, step the back foot to meet the front, fold in. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold back in. Inhale, circle the rise. And exhale, hands to heart center. Last side, last one. Inhale, circle up. Exhale, fold back in. Inhale, halfway lift. Keep the right foot where it is. Left foot back, runner's lunge. One breath. Inhale, circle up. Exhale, sink deeper in that front knee. Cactus the arms, squeeze the elbows, and create that back bend from the left foot through the ground. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, plant the hands. Step the right foot to meet the left plank. Inhale, pull the heads of the shoulders forward. Exhale, lower halfway or all the way down. Inhale, upward facing dog, cobra or baby cobra. Exhale, hips up and back, downward facing dog. Right heel down, left heel up, last side, awesome work. Exhale, step forward. Inhale, circle the arms up. Exhale, bend deeply in the left knee. Squeeze the elbows in towards the ribs, create that back bend. Inhale, circle up. Exhale, circle down. Step the right foot forward, fold in. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold back in. Inhale, circle all the way up. And exhale, hands to heart center. Slow yourself down. Reconnect to your breath. And then gently blink the eyes open if they're closed. Lower yourself down onto your mat. A little bit of vinyasa, a little breath to movement. If you're like me, just doing that, starting to get a little bit of a sweat going on. So, awesome work. Just to wind down a little bit here, we'll take a little bit of some gentle twists and then get into our Shavasana. From whatever seated position you're in, extend the legs out in front of you. And then start to bend both knees. Sweep the heels over towards the left side of your body. We want to have the arch of the right foot supporting the top of the ankle of the left foot. The knees should be in one line at the top of the mat. From here, take your left arm, reach it up towards the ceiling. On the exhale, take your left hand and either take it to the top of the right knee, or if you can, see if you can slide the fingertips underneath the right knee. Take the right arm, inhale, circle the arm up, and on the exhale, circle the arm back down behind you. Inhale to lengthen the spine, squeeze the shoulders towards one another and away from the ears, and exhale, turn and twist, gaze over your right shoulder. Inhale to lengthen the spine. Exhale to turn and twist. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to turn and twist. Inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, come back into your center. Re-extend the legs out in front of you. And then hinge over to the left. Sweep the legs over to the right side. This time the arch of the left foot should support the top of the right ankle. Inhale to reach the right arm up. Exhale, bring the right hand outside of the left knee, or if you can, lift the knee up slightly, tuck the hand underneath. Inhale, lift the left arm up, circle back, place it behind you. Inhale to lengthen the spine. Exhale, turn and twist, gaze over the left shoulder. Again, 2 more breaths here. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to turn and twist. And one more time. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, turn and twist. Inhale, gaze back to the top of the mat. Exhale, unwind. Re-extend the legs out in front of you. Remove any flesh that might have gathered underneath the sitting bones. Extend the legs out straight. Take the hands next to the hips with the palms facing down. Press the palms down and lift the spine up. Take the heads of the shoulders back and down. Try to create a 90-degree bend with the hips here, so the shoulders are directly over the hips. Flex and draw the toes back towards your torso. Inhale, circle the arms up. And on the exhale, hinge forward and see if you can grab your peace fingers to your big toes. Maybe grab the outside edges of the feet. If you can get deeper with your Paschimottanasana, possibly even a block in front of the feet. Try to keep the knees straight. If you've got to bend them, that's okay. Inhale to lengthen the spine. Exhale, try to fold in, release the sternum towards the shins. 2 more times. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, fold in. 1 more. Inhale, lengthen. 1 more. Exhale, fold in. And then inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Come all the way up to seated. And then go ahead and lower yourself all the way down onto your back. Extend the arms up overhead, zip the legs together, point the toes in one direction, stretch the fingers in the opposite direction. Create a good morning stretch from end to end. Thank your body. Thank your breath. Thank your spirit for coming in and doing the work today. And then from there, give yourself a big hug, a big squeeze. Really thank yourself. Round the shoulders towards the knees. Take the forehead in towards the knees. Curl into a tight little ball. Exhale all the air out from the lungs. And then squeeze into an even tighter ball. And then inhale, release. Lower down. Stretch the legs out strong and straight. Bring the big toes to touch. Separate the heels as wide as you can. And then allow the legs to externally rotate. Take the hands next to the hips with the palms facing up. Take the shoulders down towards the earth and away from the ears. Gently close the eyes. Exhale all the air out from your lungs. Let everything go. Take a deep inhale through the nose. Draw in everything that you need. And one more open mouth, audible exhale. Release everything you do not. And just return to your normal breathing. Release your tongue from the roof of your mouth. Unclench your jaw. Relax the muscles around the eyes. Allow the ears to melt towards the earth. Let's settle into your Shavasana. At this point, I'm going to be signing off and setting up a social media account. I do want to thank you for coming in. Day 7 of day 8. On Thursday, if you join me, we will be working on day 8 of 8, our final class for our Yoga 101 series. And if you're not going to be joining us on Thursday, maybe you can come and look us up on Facebook, YouTube, Live, or even Zoom. Our 3 social media platforms we're trying to connect with you on during this time in our lives where connection might be the thing we're trying to avoid, but electronic connection can be one of those things we can embrace. As we sign off for the practice, take the hands into heart center. Thank you for coming in. Take the hands up to the third eye. Allow the highest in me to honor the highest in you. Namaste.